Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Manager 2018 and our Gibraltar experiment, where we take a look at what would happen if Gibraltar had the 11 best players in the world in their team. Now when we left off last time, we had seen a few interesting things occur, which I want to just go back and have a look at. The first one was Comoros, qualifying for the Confederations Cup, which a lot of you pointed out. I just want to have a look at their past competitions wins, and you can see there's nothing in there which would make you think that they have won the African Cup of Nations. I think if we have a look at the African Cup of Nations, I'm pretty sure they haven't won it. The past winners here, Senegal. They've come nowhere near, so I don't know why Comoros have managed to qualify for the African Cup of Nations unless they're the hosts of the World Cup. Obviously we found England were the winners of the last World Cup, but the next hosts are going to be Spain. So I really don't know exactly why Comoros have managed to qualify for the African Cup of Nations. It's an absolute mystery to me, but hopefully one of you guys can let me know how they managed to do it, if you can sort of figure that stuff out. But I really just don't know how they've done that whatsoever. But apparently they have, so major surprise there. I also want to have a quick look at Coventry City before we go ahead any further, because people were wondering how they did after all the money and all the players disappeared. Now when we left off, obviously we'd seen their big fall out of the Premier League down into League 2. They did get promoted first time of asking, but got relegated straight after, and then they managed to get back up again. They did actually have a couple of fleeting spells, in the Championship, a couple of promotions, a relegation, and then won at the Sky Bet League 1. So they are now established as a Championship team. They're still rich as well, plenty of money in the club, so no major problems there. But they have managed to come from a League 2 team all the way up to an established Championship team. So Coventry have done well with the money that they managed to raise from the player sales. I actually just want to have a quick look. If we look at their transfer history back in their first couple of seasons, you can see first season they raised 141 million and the second just 6.75, but that's about 145 million pounds, which is a huge amount of money to a League 2 club, and they seem to have spent it quite well. Now what we're going to do today is go forward 5 more years, have a look at how Gibraltar have done, how the best players have done, and a kind of final look at what's going on in all of the other Champions Leagues competitions and things like that. But then the next episode, if we do a next one, will be the final one, because we'll do a roundup. We'll go to the point of retirement for all of the players and see exactly what they achieved, who was the best one, and where Gibraltar have finished at the end of it all. So let me know in the comments if there's anything that you would like to see in the next and final episode. Also drop a like on this video if you do want one more part, otherwise we can end it here and go on to the next experiment. So let me know your thoughts down below. Well, we are now 5 years into the future. The year is 2032. You can see the average age of the players now. It's either 31 or 32. One of them also missing, one of the Liverpool players, I believe, currently missing from the team. Maybe a central midfielder. But the players all still exactly where they were before. I don't think anybody's changed. Obviously, we knew that Fixter had moved to Manchester United, where Morgan Crowther is, but everybody else still where they were right at the start of this series. Now if we go to Manchester United and start to have a look at the Premier League over the last 5 years, click on the Premier League, we can already see how United have done. It looks like they've done very, very well. Captain Morgan Crowther, Vice-Captain Dylan Fixter. And you can see at the moment Liverpool have won the title. It's been banging between the two of these teams ever since we pretty much started this save. And if we drop back to the last season we had at the last episode, you can see Liverpool did win the league that year. The following year though, United came back and took it 3 points over Man City. Then they did it again 2 points clear of Man City, before finally doing it 2 points clear again. Imagine getting 100 points in the Premier League and not winning it. Imagine getting 99 points and coming third in the Premier League. That is absolutely insane. It would have won Liverpool the title literally any other year in the Premier League's history, but that year they managed to finish third. That shows how lopsided the league had been that season, with a 24-point gap between third and fourth. And then down at the bottom you've got the likes of Ipswich, Reading and Swansea getting relegated. And then you also had Man City there winning the league 1 point clear of Manchester United. I was a little bit distracted here. Bournemouth have been randomly chosen over Watford after both teams finished on 39 points with the same record. That's quite... I've not seen that before. I know that is the rule if that happens, but it's pure chance. They had the same number of goals scored and against, same number of points, same number of... but that's what I don't get, because Bournemouth have won more games, so maybe that's why they finished above Watford. Maybe you guys can let me know, because I know it goes down to a coin toss, I think, if nothing else is there, because there should really be a head-to-head unless they had the same results against each other. But either way, Man City broke the dominance of United and Liverpool in winning the league by 1 point, and then finally Liverpool come back to win it again. So far we've seen a pretty interesting history with Man United, City and Liverpool winning the Premier League over a sustained period of time. Nobody else in with a shout. Chelsea managed to finish second one year, a lot of third places as well. But it's the Gibraltar players of Man United and Liverpool that seem to have carried them all the way in the Premier League. And if we go to Manchester United and have a look at their captain, Morgan Crowther, he's one of the players we've been looking at quite closely. If we look at his career stats, you can see he is banging in a lot of goals for them. 29 Premier League goals that season, 7.82 average rating. I think this is showing that he may well be a competitor for the Golden Ball. And he finished Golden Shoe third there, but he was top scorer in the Premier League this season. But they've actually got another player, Ndiaye, currently at Manchester United, beating both Lautaro and Crowther to the top scorer's position 3 years in a row. Morgan Crowther has won the Golden Boot 3 times now, with Lautaro winning it twice as well. The two Gibraltarian combatants going against each other. But 32 Premier League goals. This striker looks sensational. Apparently Spanish for Manchester United, and you can see 18 finishing, 17 first touch helping his cause. 30 years old now, 75 goals for Spain in 100 caps. So maybe that will have affected the way that Gibraltar can compete at the highest level. But if we go back to the Gibraltar team, then we can also take a look at PSG and see how Ross McMahon has managed to get on in the French league, and you can see winning an awful lot of them. Just the one season where they didn't manage to win it, but he is captain from Gibraltar. He is their captain and their key player, ahead of Mbappe, which is a little bit surprising. We don't need to look at the other players because we've already seen how the Premier League has gone down. If we have a look at the Champions League, if I can spell it right, we can see currently won by City, but look at that. The Champions League past winners, almost all of them are either Man City or Liverpool. Liverpool won it 5 times in 7 years. At the start, we had Man United winning it time after time, always in the final every single year, beating Liverpool that year. And then Man City won it, but Liverpool beat Chelsea twice, City came and won it, Liverpool missing out again. But they've then won it 3 more times in a row, with City finally winning it as well. So that's 4 wins for City, 5 there for Liverpool, and 3 for United, with PSG, Barcelona and Spurs getting titles as well. But the Liverpool players have absolutely dominated. If we drop down to the Europa League, we'll probably see a few Arsenal wins, and there they are. Arsenal, 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 and 2 for Spurs, just to cap it off right at the end. But Arsenal, definitely the masters of the Europa League right now, beating AC Milan on a regular occasion. Southampton also beating AC Milan, little surprise there. But the dominance of Liverpool is absolutely unprecedented. 5 more Champions Leagues, taking them to a total of 10 Champions League wins. That is really impressive, I have to say. But that's, yeah, I mean, that's sort of taken me back a bit. If we have a look at the Golden Ball, this is the next big prize we want to have a look at. And we do have Liverpool and United players winning it, but not in the way we would want. So obviously we know this was kind of how things were. And then you had Kingsley Coman win it with Bayern. Hadji win it with Arsenal, a Romanian youngster. Pereira and Mbappe in there. Then you had Ewan Robert from France win it ahead of Dybala. No Gibraltarians anywhere to be seen. Absolutely nowhere. None of them have even managed to finish in the top 3 throughout the entirety of this save, which is absolutely crazy. I mean, this guy's not even got a good average rating. He plays for Italy. Why is he there? I'm pretty sure Crowther will have had more goals and everything that season. But apparently not good enough to win the Golden Ball. So if we take a look at Gibraltar and how they have managed to get on, we want to start by having a look at their senior squad schedule. The year is 2032, so the European Championship currently ongoing. Back in 2027, we saw them lose their third major final in a row after losing the World Cup, the International League and the Confederations Cup final, and that's that one where Comoros were in there. Still, do not understand that. I do want to have a quick look at the Confederations Cup, and if we have a look at their stages and drop back to, I guess it was the 2025 season, and what other teams were in here? You had Brazil, Japan, Mexico, Canada. They all make sense. And in Group B, Comoros, the only African team in there. I do not understand that even a little bit. I don't know why they're in there, but they were. So they lost that final. They lost the World Cup final to England 1-0. And then they lost to France. Somebody did actually ask who Darcy Brooke is, the man that won England the final. If we have a quick look at him, he plays for Spurs. He's only ever got 3 goals for England in 13 caps, but he's won them the World Cup final. Been with Spurs after leaving Leverkusen. £34.5 million he was signed from. I don't even know who he was signed from. He joined them 25-26. He was on loan at Leverkusen. He must have come from Manchester United, and then he went to BMG on a free before moving on for £34.5 million, but he's never really settled anywhere. But he did win England the World Cup, so he will forever be a legend. But then you can see Gibraltar qualified quite easily for the European Championships. The question is, did they continue to choke after losing to France in the International League final? In the European Championships, they went out on penalties in the quarter-finals to Italy. That's really disappointing. They managed to get themselves back into it, but were not able to go through despite beating Germany 3-1. The following year, obviously a World Cup year, you can see in the International League final, they lost again 2-1 to Italy. Carlo Franco with a penalty and Patrick Cutrone, the legend from my Newcastle save, winning the International League final. And then they lost the Confederations Cup final. 5 international finals in a row they've managed to lose, these players. Absolute chokers, all of them. Beating some pretty good teams, including Brazil on the way, only to lose it to Spain with Ndai scoring. You've got a City player and a United player on the score sheet there. Lautaro with a goal against Brazil. But they went again in World Cup qualifying, and in the World Cup they did finally put the run to an end. A 3-0 win over Turkey in Spain. 2 goals for Dylan Fixter, 1 for Morgan Crowther. Manchester United sealing the way and knocking England out 3-0 after they beat them in the final previously. A few strange names popping up here, so Gibraltar's players all starting to contribute a little bit more. But you can see they crushed Jordan 3-1, 2-0 against Uruguay, 1-0 against Sweden, beat Portugal with a penalty, beat Holland, beat England, and then in the final beat Turkey through 3-0 for a second World Cup for Gibraltar, and putting an end to that run of 5 international finals without victory. Then in the European Division Group A, they did manage to win all their games and won in the International League final 3-0 against England again, who must be going through a golden period at the moment. But 3-0 over England means they win for the second competition in a row. Then more championships, and we're up to the present day. I do want to have a quick look at England as well, because they seem to have done so well recently. Currently ranked 6th in the world, with Ragnar Klavan, their manager, at 46 years old. But if we look at their competitions history, you can see they won the World Cup 2026, 2031 International League. Nothing too surprising outside of that. Pretty impressive. They've won the World Cup, but only as much as Gibraltar. And if we just go and have another look at that World Cup, we can see past winners: Gibraltar, England, Gibraltar. Next one going to be in Japan. Going back to Japan, but you can see here, absolutely brilliant. Gibraltar, 2 World Cups in the bag and a European Championship still to come. So I think that's probably going to be it for this episode. We can maybe have one last look at Coventry 5 years after we last checked in, and you can see they've still been bouncing in and around the Championship, but that is certainly their new level now. They don't even have rich finances. But yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. Let me know by dropping a like on the video if you would like one final part to this experiment. You can also let me know, if you do want that final part, what you would like me to look at in that final bit. You could also drop over to Twitter and Patreon if you want to support the channel in other ways. But until next time, see ya!